What's up, you guys? Welcome to today's video. As you can tell by the title, we're going to be going over the top 10 things that are banned in US prisons, and some of them might really surprise you. If you guys are new here, hi. My name is Jess. I'm a person in long-term recovery who has in fact been to prison. It's not a flex, I'm just used to saying it. If you guys want to follow me on any other social media platform, TikTok, Instagram, Patreon, that's $2. It's only ever going to be $2. All of that is linked down below, as well as my vlog channel and my podcast. But without further ado, let's kick this thing off. Okay, so it's like prison, right? It's not summer camp. There's gonna be a lot of things that you're not allowed to have, like joy. I'm just kidding. Some of these might make sense, others really make me mad, and you're not gonna understand because I don't understand, and I've been to literal prison. Number one, and this is so ridiculous, you're not even gonna believe me, but I swear it's true, R-rated movies. Now, these are grown men and women, these are adults that have committed crimes that are in prison that are not allowed to watch R-rated movies. Now, the original idea behind this is they don't want inmates watching violent movies or movies that could give them ideas for like prison escape or crime. But just to highlight how absolutely ridiculous this really is, A Star is Born is an R-rated movie. Ted, you know, the movie about the teddy bear? That's an R-rated movie. I should have started the video with this, but every single prison across this country is different, and this is my experience. But I do know that in my experience, R-rated movies, not allowed. It's also a very big deal in the federal prison system. I have several friends that are either in federal prison right now or are home from federal prison, and they've all told me the same thing. R-rated movies are banned in federal prisons in this country, and I think it just depends on like the state and the prison and the guards and the rules. Some rules are, you know, made to be broken. If I was a guard, I'd let inmates watch A Star is Born. That was a good freaking movie, man. Also, we are way more creative than Hollywood, I swear. So if an inmate wants to do something, they don't need an idea from like a movie, dude. We have all day and we're bored and our imagination will run wild. There is no movie ever that's gonna give us some great idea to do some crime that we've never thought of before. Number two, gum, like chewing gum. Gum is a really big deal to inmates. So if there was ever an inmate that would steal things from the guards, I don't know who would ever do that. Me. Anyway, if there was an inmate that could get gum, it sells for a lot of commissary money in prison because it's something we can't have, so we want it. You know, something as basic as gum. Oh, man, how many soups you want for that gum? Side note, I call ramen noodles soups, you know, like ramen noodle soups. I've said that a few times on YouTube and people were like, they're called noodles. No, bro, read the pack, it's soup, ramen noodle soup. Anyway, now the reasoning behind the gum thing is because inmates could get a bunch of it and then like jam locks with it or something. And I guess if it's like a hardened piece of gum, they could use it to like make a key, but that is not how we make handcuff keys or like door keys. Inmates do know how to make a fake handcuff key. That's a video for another time, but we wouldn't do it with gum. So I think like jamming the locks would be like the most concerning. So no gum for inmates. Number three, books. Now this one makes me especially crazy because I am a bookworm. I think it's really important for inmates to read, but there are tons of books banned across this country in prisons. Again, every state is different, but the state of Texas has banned 12,000 books. Now I don't know if this is still active in the state of Texas, but they have even banned books written by William frickin' Shakespeare, bro. I know, you can't make that up. One of the most famous books, or one of the most well-known books that certain prisons across this country have banned is this. Now this is like the inmate Bible. Just kidding. It's the 48 Laws of Power. And this is banned in Texas prisons and a couple of other prisons across the country. I read it in prison. Anyway, the reason that several prisons have banned this book is because it's seen as a security risk. The book essentially outlines persuasion and manipulation strategies. Because of that, some prisons think that it's just not safe for inmates to have this book. I mean, I've read it, I don't think it's that serious, but it's almost like some prison officials just read the back of it and they were like, no, absolutely not. Could figure out how to manipulate a guard without reading this very long book. But the back says, the best-selling book for those who want power, watch power, or want to arm themselves against power. You know what I mean? So it's like they read the back and they were like, oh, no, we can't have that. Immoral, cunning, ruthless, and instructive, this piercing work distills 3,000 years of history and power into 48 well explicit laws. So, you know, I think it's a little bit dramatic. I think there are plenty of other books that are more severe than the 48 Laws of Power, but that's kind of one of the most famous ones that are banned in some prisons in this country. Number 4. Some prisons have banned address books. Now, I don't really know the reasoning behind this because we're gonna write down addresses whenever we want to. I do know that the federal prison system sells an address book on commissary. I will say that the only time this like affects an inmate is when we were being transported from county jail to prison. The only property that you're allowed to take from county jail to prison is like legal material that you might have, like legal mail, and a Bible. The Bible is the only guaranteed book that you can take everywhere you go. So if you're being transported from county jail to prison, or you're in prison and you're going to solitary confinement, or you're in prison and you have to go back to county jail for court, you can take the Bible everywhere you go. So most inmates, myself included, would take a Bible and they would write the names and addresses that they need. That way when they're being transported from county jail to prison, they have the names and addresses and phone numbers of their family. Number 5, a spiral bound notebook. Now this might seem really obvious and you might say like, oh, it's because you could create a weapon and hurt someone else. The reason they have banned spiral bound notebooks is because prison officials think that the wire could be used to pick locks. Now it would make sense that they don't want a ton of spiral bound notebooks because if you have a ton of that wire, you definitely could make a weapon out of it. You could hurt somebody with it. I never personally needed to pick handcuff keys. My wrist is so small. Like, I guess you can tell better without tattoos. My wrist is really small and I've always been able to just slip my handcuff. This is so random, but look how different my arms look in size. Like, because of, you know, the ink, it just looks this arm looks way smaller than this arm. They're the same arms. Number 6, hardback books. So you are not allowed to have any book that has a hard cover. Everything has to be paperback. The only time I've ever had a book with a hard cover, I was studying legal material. I couldn't keep those books though. I couldn't take those books back to my cell. So I could study the legal material and then I'd have to give the book back. But yeah, we're not allowed to have hardcover books because I guess you could make that a weapon. Whatever. All of this talk about weapons, you guys, we could make a weapon out of toilet paper. I know that sounds absolutely insane, but like you can harden toilet paper and you could make anything you want out of anything. I've seen people make the most beautiful rosaries out of garbage bags, and like they're detailed. I'll see if I can find a picture for you guys, but they're absolutely beautiful. Number 7 is really just an annoyance in your everyday life. You're not allowed to have paper clips or staples. Now again, this falls under a security risk. You could pick locks with them. I'm sorry that this is gonna take like an unfortunate dark turn here, but I have seen people self-harm with anything that they could find, whether that was a paper clip that they might have gotten from mental health or legal material. Sometimes they will forget and not take the staples off of some legal documents that you have. We do get in trouble if we have them, by the way. So if you ever are in jail or prison and they give you some legal material and there's a staple on it, throw it away or hide it. Well, whatever, live your life, but you will get in trouble for it. Number 8, which is also an extreme annoyance, full-length pencils. So inmates, in my experience, have golf pencils, and that is really annoying if you like to write letters or draw. I was even in a prison that had rubber pens, so like the pens weren't like real pens, and they were very difficult to write with, and my handwriting is already horrible. So they're like rubber pens, and they're not sturdy, and it's just really freaking annoying. But again, it could be made into a weapon. Prison. You can't have full-length pencils because you could kill somebody. Also prison. Here's a razor. Don't have hairy legs. What? Okay. Number 9, in a lot of prisons, games are banned. It could be dominoes, it could be cards, it could be chess, because they don't want the inmates gambling. Now, I gambled in every single facility ever. I never would ever have the patience with my ADHD to make a chessboard out of toilet paper, not even in solitary confinement. I don't have the mental energy for it. I'm just gonna go to sleep. But inmates do make game boards, chess pieces. Some prisons do sell cards and dominoes and chess and checkers. They do. Not all prisons. Some prisons ban games. Because if you're gambling and then you run up a debt because you owe money from gambling, then more violence could happen and you could get hurt or you could hurt somebody else over this gambling debt. Commissary is perfectly legal, and I had an inmate store every chance I got. That means that I have a surplus of something and you come to me and you're like, hey Jess, let me get a bag of chips. Okay, well, when you get your commissary next week, you have to pay me back 2 bags of chips. It's 2 for 1, and that creates a lot of debt and that creates a lot of problems, but you know, your girl was trying to make some money. The reason I told you that is because we can create debt from a million other things besides gambling, cards, and dominoes. By the way, I will kick your ass in dominoes. I'm so good at dominoes, it's ridiculous. Number 10. Most prisons have banned tobacco products. Now, I guess that would make sense, right? They don't want inmates smoking, maybe it's a fire hazard, costs money, maybe they care about the inmate's health. They don't. I can almost guarantee you that there is not a single jail or prison in this country that is tobacco-free, drug-free, or alcohol-free. I mean, they made the rule, it's banned, right? So there shouldn't be any. I always had access to whatever I wanted in jail. Always. There was always someone that had drugs, tobacco, someone making alcohol. It was always available. There were even times where inmates got alcohol, vodka, because it's clear, from guards. So there is always going to be those things. You can ban it all you want. You can make anything you want illegal. It's not going to stop that thing from happening. And I think we can apply that to like literally everything. I'm gonna include a bonus one in here, and that is sex toys. And it's also against the rules in prisons to masturbate. I feel like that's a really strange one. Like in the privacy of your own cell, you're not allowed to masturbate. I want to include that in here because I think it's a really good example of just how much the prison officials want to control every single person. It's super weird, you know, but we're human beings, we all have needs, and to control that, to write people up for that is insane to me. Larry Lawton has made a video about him being written up for masturbating, and then he sued the prison. He's very vocal about it, and I think it's important that we recognize just how much control and power the prison wants to have over us. Contrary to popular belief, the more you give inmates, the less likely they are to kill each other. The more privileges they have, the more they will have to lose. When you take every single thing away from a person and you don't give them any privileges, any rehabilitation services, mental health services, resources to get out and live a better life, then you're just setting them up for failure. If you give inmates something to work towards, something to be proud of, some privileges, then they are going to want to focus on that. If you make it so unbearable for inmates and they have no reason to try to change, and all you do is talk down to them, treat them like they're subhuman, and you tell them that they're nothing, guess what? They're gonna start to believe that. And if they have nothing to lose, what difference does it make if they hurt staff or if they hurt each other? What difference does it make? They have nothing left. You've taken everything from them. Prison is the darkest, most depressing. The energy is heavy. It's depressing. It's dehumanizing. It is violent. It's traumatizing. And if you think that that is how prison is supposed to be, and if you think you just shouldn't have broken the law, I'm here to tell you that our only punishment is loss of freedom. The American prison system is corrupt, it's an embarrassment, it is evil, and it's only producing more crime. It's only costing more money, and it's not helping anyone. If you want to see more videos like this, I will leave a playlist on the card up here. Be sure to smash that subscribe button if you have not done so already. It really freaking helps. But I'm gonna end today's video here. As always, I love you guys. Stay safe, stay in recovery, whatever that looks like to you. Do your best not to break the law, and I will see you guys in my next one.